What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy. Good morning to Albert. You guys are changing the list on me. It's all switching up as you guys are piling in. We got Anna. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andrew, Bill, Brian, Emily, Frank. Good morning to Jeff. Jimmy, the stick is in the house. Good morning to John, Lauren, Marius, Renee, Rick, Rob, T, Flo. We got Tim. Good morning to all you guys piling in. We got Hostility in YouTube land, Ray Helms in YouTube land. Good morning to the both of you. And all my lurkers in the background of YouTube is okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, pretty busy weekend. I would say. Emily says, Happy Magnificent Momentum Monday. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, busy. Lots of headlines coming out this weekend. So, and I think the healthcare one is supposed to be starting. It's already kind of announced, but Trump is supposed to be holding a conference, I think 9 o'clock today. So we'll see if that's happening. Somebody let me know if there's any headlines or anything that looks fun or cool from there. But, and then obviously the bigger news, which I didn't think there'd be a deal on the first meeting with China, and then again, it's we kind of didn't have a deal with China, but the everybody is taking it that we have something. At least we have a 90-day pause. You got 30% tariffs on China, so that's down about 115% from where we were sitting at. So I guess the market likes it. But what happens after 90 days? We still got to figure out the other terms. Like there's still a lot of open ends on it. I don't think we have a that concrete deal, but it's enough to get a massive move into the markets, and everything is kind of gapping, which is fun if you have any swings. It's fun if you have any long term. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna be not a I don't know. I think it's gonna be a difficult day trade day. Everything's already kind of moved so much already that I feel bad trying to buy something. And at the same time, this rip is so strong, I don't really want to go against it either, but really fantastic move. The next resistance that we would have had to deal with, well, we had two. One would have been from that Thursday, which was 569.51. The one after that, a big one, was 575. After that, we have 578.23. We're above all those. Our next target to the higher side would take us to about 586.30. Uh, I have to imagine somebody's going to take some gains on this. I don't know. Uh, Emily says at open, how fun. Trump holds press conference with health. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But I thought you said 9 a.m. for that one. Is 9:30 they're starting? I don't know. But we'll probably see some headlines kind of rolling out about that. Other than that, if we get some kind of a pullback, I'd be looking. I don't know if I'm looking for a huge one or not. I really don't know what to do. I'm out of ideas. If you guys want to take over, you let me know because I don't know. But yeah, 578.62 if we get a pullback. So at open, I'm probably not buying. I'm probably not selling. If the SPY gets back into 578.62, that would be my first spot I look. If we go a little bit further, 576.20 into this 575 range. So somewhere around there would be really good spots. I don't think we make it back all the way to that Thursday gap fill. At least not today. It's 569.20. So we'll see. But I think at small pullback, give me some kind of pullback, get me into some of those levels, and then my target to the higher side would be 586.69 at this point. If we could break that, your next one is 587.23, so very small range, so pretty good resistance above us. And then if we end up closing above that, 592.61 will be the next spot that I'm looking for. But pretty fantastic move. I was like, maybe the weekly chart could give me something that would be like fun. The weekly chart tells me we had a very good double top. We had a neckline. We broke the neckline. We kind of came in here for a retest, not really. But this is also telling me that we have opening at a little bit of resistance on the weekly, plus technically it was a bye week last week, so green week, 2 weeks before that, all green. So there is some people that bought into this dip that is making money today at open, and maybe that retest on the weekly is what ends up panning out. But we'll have to see. More importantly than even how today opens and what we can kind of look at to trade, I think how this closes for the day is going to be the most important thing. This is the China deal was the bigger one that everybody was waiting for. Again, it's temporary at best at this point. We don't know where it goes, and my guess would be that there's obviously more talks. We get continued Chinese headlines coming out about deals both positive and negative. until we have something more concrete. But this is a 90-day deal. We'll see. But more importantly is if this is the news everybody's been waiting for, and we end up giving up this entire gap today, and I don't think so, but if we do give up this entire gap, we have a nice big red candle to the downside. That's not going to look too good. We have a whole bunch of deals left, a whole bunch of countries we still have to have deals with, and if we can't hold this one, um, I don't know. The other thing too is we just saw literally 2 trading days ago, was it Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. We had the UK deal. So the way that one worked is you had that nice little gap up. Then we did start to sell. It wasn't a huge sell, which again, I'm kind of not thinking we got a massive sell. And then as Trump started coming out with the details, the market just loved it and started ripping from here. I'm kind of banking on this setup. That would get me a better spot to buy if we get it. And I think Trump is talking. I think he's talking today about the China deal too. I know the healthcare, which maybe he'll combine them and start talking about both, or there's probably a separate conference today, maybe. But I think you get this little pullback, and then I think when Trump comes in and talks about the deal, that it's probably one of the best deals ever, my guess. That the market's going to take it, run with it, and that will get you your next buying opportunity. So I'm going to see if that's essentially how we look to play out today. But very good gap, very good gap, which makes it tough to kind of play. But yeah, everything the long term swings, everything is massively up today. We got Qs. Another really good gap. At least on a daily basis, you have a little bit of a gap and go on the Qs. So maybe not as, or maybe that's an indicator. Maybe SPY follows that one a little bit. So not as much of a chance as a retest, although this did get bought up into the last 2 days of selling. Two little red candles. Other than that, for support on Qs, if we get that little pullback, I'm watching 503.43. I want to see that hold. Yeah, I don't really want to see a break. If it does, 497.24, but then we'd have to recapture this 402.75 or so and try to get back up there. To the higher side, you do have a little bit more room. You got a weak resistance, 509.63. I don't think that's the strongest in the world. Next target past that one would take us to about 513.76, and that loads us up for a lot of room to run still on the Qs. So we'll see. Tim says likelihood of a rate cut dropped. Yeah. Yeah. Again, we're at 30% tariffs if that stays. We don't know. Um that's still a pretty big massive increase from before Trump took over. So I would expect pricing to still move higher, which in that case would be inflationary, and then it's going to hold the Fed, I think, from lowering the interest rates. I think they should cut, but that's me. They didn't give me the Fed job. I'm trying. BTC USD. I would like to actually see a cut. I think that'd be massively beneficial. But again, you're going to have the inflation portion of the tariffs still kind of holding. Bitcoin, pretty okay weekend, not bad, but obviously it's off the backs of this big, massive Thursday candle. We have gone up a little since then, and we've just been chilling for right now. So we'll see. This one's at it's been kind of facing a pretty big resistance, 105, 182. We hit that and broke it today. Next time up there, we probably break through that one, and then we're looking for like 106, 332. And then a big massive target into 107.901 if we start getting closes above that, off to the races. But looks a little bit more mellowed today, just kind of chilling, resting for a couple days. We'll see how this one pans out for the rest of the day. You got 103.810. That should be your support. If that can't hold, 102.90. And a big major one is 101.402 for major support on Bitcoin. We got a couple of tickers coming in, so let's cover some of those. We got Wendy is throwing out Lily. So again, right now it sounds like, and unless Trump's talking and negating everything I'm saying right now, but from what he posted on Truth yesterday, which he did, he's a showman. He's a showman. He put out the next Truth I write will be the most important one, and everyone's like, "What? What is it going to be?" And then he should have just put like a Rickroll. Never gonna give you up, but no, he went with the healthcare one. Um, for anybody making prescription drugs, it's not a good deal. I think some of it and some of the healthcare is still holding, but I think it's actually a good deal for healthcare. The UN the UNHs of the world, all the healthcare companies, Aetna's of the world, CVS, probably decent too. But if you have lower prices on prescriptions, so essentially the deal says if you're selling it to another country, the drug for a certain price, we shouldn't be paying more. So you can't sell it here unless it's matching the lowest price. So essentially, the rest of the world, I would assume their prices go up for prescription drugs. Ours come down. We find some kind of happy medium, I guess. I think longer term, drug companies are still gonna be fine. I don't think they go out of business because of it. But healthcare, you're still going to pay your premium. And how quickly do you think? I know Trump said that 30 to 80% discounts on prescription drugs could happen almost immediately. But how quickly do you think health insurance companies are going to lower their premiums? I don't think too long. So if the healthcare is now paying less, that's just more profit for them. I think maybe eventually over time they kind of lower it, but do they even lower to what they're actually paying? Probably not. So I think that you have some kind of probably a good deal for UNH, which has been getting absolutely beat up. I think that one's kind of holding. Lilly, this one's not going to take probably the news as good as maybe UNH or even for a longer term story, but you're into a little support here. You do have a retest gap. You're looking at maybe 724.45 ish is your next target. A big one for it is 720.26, and then major one 699.34. If it can't hold that, you're probably getting a much bigger drop on this one. But yeah, retest gap, still into a little support. I wouldn't. I don't know how that conference is going to go or what he's going to say, but we're going to react to headlines at least for the first probably hour and a half of the day, and then I think eventually this is probably a retest gap, and it still looks pretty weak. So again, if today's candle closes massively bullish and whatever comes out from this meeting they love, that might set us up if we get some kind of bullish engulfing candle. Right now, it still looks weak. We're already kind of coming into that retest already, so we'll see, but we shall see. We got CLF. Hmm. CLF, not bad. Um, this was a very good support that we were in. I didn't like that close on Friday whatsoever. I think this gap probably traps a couple more bears that were also maybe holding this thing through the weekend. And then from there, the other like this candle is obviously major volume, so you don't really have your clearance until you break through it and we close above it. That would be a super strong sign for Cliffs for potential longer term reversal. But that being said, the highest volume even on this candle that came in at $7.24, and we are above that. So what I would like to see is a small pullback into 724. See if we could hold that, and then I think you have at least good risk reward. I don't know how far this thing goes today. Your next kind of resistance, $7.41. You got $7.56, and then you're really just looking into the top of this candle or somewhere around 786, close above there. Maybe longer term you could break out. But I like the location of the gap. It's still well within this high volume candle though, so I don't know how many bears are really feeling trapped, but probably some, and it is a good bounce spot. So we'll put that a little bit higher on the list. Um, I would need probably about what is that, 6 cents, at least 6 cents pullback, and then probably some kind of good looking intraday candle. But maybe there's a double bottom forming there, which would be something. DraftKings DKNG. That one's got a good gap, big resistance right above us though. So you got, if we start closing daily candles above 38.10, that might set us up to push us into $40.53. If we could break through that, you got like 43.11 on the horizon. But you have that 200 we're staring down right now. It is a gap and go, lots and lots of volume coming in, probably off the backs of earnings, but high wave indecisive candle. We are at the very top of that run right now. To depending, maybe when this bell rings, we're a penny or two higher. It looks like. And then we have to worry about that 200 somewhere around 38.10. So it might have a little bit more room on it. Otherwise, on a technical basis, besides some of the resistance, it's a really good gap on DraftKings, and we'll see if we get some more momentum from it. I don't know if they had any news, and I don't really see how they go up off the Chinese deal in terms of like I don't know. There's a lot of people in China playing DraftKings. I'm not sure the Chinese population is betting on the Lakers. I don't know, but probably moving with the rest of the market, I would say. and then we got to watch that resistance. We got the GM General Motors. That looks like a better gap. At least, so yeah, we had big resistance on this one around 47.73. You're opening into a little resistance now, and then your next target again. Target's what's going to be a hindrance today for me, but you got 49.88. It's the next one. If you get through that, then you have a really good trade up to like $50.96. We need some more continued momentum. Even though, yeah, Friday was a little bit of a red candle, you had a nice move into it. It's more of a resting. I think this is probably more retest than anything else. So let's see if we get a pullback first. Especially with that bigger resistance right above us. We'll get this one higher though. Marvell. Marvell. And then some guys want to take a look at Hood, I see. All right. Marvell is okay. Good. My resistance on this one would have been 62.80. We're above that. You got your next resistance that would have came in 63.20. We're above that. We are opening right into this next one, which is 64.80, and then you have your big volume. Probably targets on this one would be a little longer term, about 74.19 is going to be an absolute monster. 74.39, something like that. Whole bunch of resistance ahead of you. I think for today, if we just scream bullish all day, I'm looking for like 68.79, 68.80, something like that. We got a whole bunch of VPOCs that we did nothing. That's a good retest spot longer term, and then we have to see what kind of break through and hold it. But fairly good gap. Fairly good gap. I'm not loving the resistance that we're going into. We'll put this higher, see how this one wants to react. If I do take this one, it'll probably have to be like a 1.2 go for. I don't see a huge runway ahead of us. Lydia says, I'm glad I bought those SPY calls last Friday just in case conversations were positive. Literally, that's the word they used. They were positive. They said that we got positive one, and you're like, oh, bingo. B47. I think B is like B15. I think that's the highest it goes. I don't know where I got B47. You can tell I haven't played bingo in a minute. We got Nvidia is another one opening. We'll have to watch this one. This would be a very interesting one to look at. This would be a very interesting high wave candle. You have two red days in a row, although they were just kind of almost inside days of this big breakout candle. We have a big resistance somewhere around 121.89. We pushed right into it. And I think if we could get a high wave candle or a break, you have nothing really holding you back, and we're already up a lot. Again, that's a problem that we're up so much. How much more room does it have? I would throw out a guess that we could get to 126.62 on a really phenomenal day. Otherwise, there's some other resistance, small resistance, not many. I guess your next bigger level somewhere around 123.32, and then maybe get to like 126.09. So if we could get to those ranges, great. I'd probably want to see how that first candle closes. I would love to see a little high wave candle on that one. Hood, phenomenal day. Phenomenal gap. $60 is a good psychological hold number. You also have a little bit of resistance coming in on this one around 59.43. Again, we have a red day, but even that was just a retest gap, retracement. And that comes off the backs of essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row. Why do I get the feeling today might be a good day to sell some covered calls? Probably a pretty phenomenal day if you got some shares in 100 lots of things. You might have a good time to sell some covered calls and make some profit that way. But watch the $60.51 zone. If we close above that today, you got 63.59, you got 65.13, and you're just off to the races in terms of anything above that, you're free and clear. I don't know, $100, I guess. But for right now, yeah, watch that resistance. Really good gap. People definitely profitable on this one, and we'll see if we get that push past 60 and get the continuation. I'm telling you, it's not any. Just from the looks of everything, it's not an easy day to day trade. I don't think. I don't think this is going to be like the easiest. I think patience wins today. Patience. Coinbase is decent. Uh, decent. I'd want to see us get through 208.05. That would set us up fairly well, at least to the highs of Friday, which would be 214.28. Lots and lots of volume on this one. So here's my dream of how this would play out. Of like, this is what I want to happen. I can almost guarantee it doesn't happen, but get a nice little pullback into Friday's VPOC, and then I think you start to move. The reason I would like that is you have this monster volume candle here. We are above the opening of that candle. We've already put in a good range. The market showed us it could get there. But if we can get that pullback from this resistance, we hit that, you get really good risk reward. So stop somewhere down here. My entry as close as possible, humanly possible, like 202.61, I think would be decent. And then you just have to work on getting through that resistance again. But now you've been there almost twice, and next time a little bit easier. I think you get back to at least the high end of Friday. Maybe work through that 100, and then I think your next target is like 218.17. So um, even though Bitcoin's not doing too much right now at the moment, Coinbase could be fun again. Patience on this one would be decent. We'll see. We got let's see Netflix. Netflix is gapping down a little bit, so it looks a little bit different than the rest of the market. Huge support somewhere around 11.2257. If you think it breaks down, or if you're going to wait till that breaks down, you have a lot more room to the downside into like 1100. But for right now, it's kind of still hanging out in this range. This is also a retest gap. I would like to see this one actually get bought up at open for the best risk reward. Give me something like 1139. Maybe it's a shot to try to look short. It's been an absolute beast. It's up a ton since well, prior to earnings, actually, a couple days before, but really good move, maybe a little overextended. And also, Netflix has been the tariff safe haven. Again, we've been saying like I don't see really how Netflix gets tariffs, and they were kind of getting beat up on the news. Then they started to balance the earnings to support it, and it's been a little hiding place for a lot of investors who are indeed afraid of tariffs. I think the more good news on tariffs, not that Netflix is going to zero, not that we have huge massive pullback, but I think there's probably a lot of other opportunities of companies still beat up on tariffs. And if that tariff picture looks a lot clearer, you might have some people trying to take profits and then maybe rotating in some of those ones that got beat up a little much. Lucian says, with the SPY up 3% already, I'm not expecting too much more of a run today. Yeah, it's we're up we're up there. Uh-huh. AVGO. Yeah, I was looking at this one too. I think it was into resistance. Was this the one I was looking at? Oh, yeah, I was looking at this one pre-market, but yeah, good gap of just sitting. Uh, this one might have a little bit more room on it. If we were opening, and we still got 5 minutes, so maybe this thing comes down a little. Who knows? But look for support around 219.16. Other than that, the fact that we're above it right now, there's a couple small zones in here that might mess us up in terms of targets. But otherwise, you got probably 226.26 would be the actual target, and that's still from here gives us almost $7. So I think a pretty phenomenal gap again. Looks really good. Maybe that patience will pay. Patience will pay at the. I can't not say patience after I say patience. Is that crazy? We got Jeff saying just getting going this morning. Now what? Yeah, I don't know. GeoGuessr? I don't know. I mean, if you guys have a long term, which I encourage everybody, I very strong opinion. I don't feel like anybody should even be day trading until you have a long term account. To be quite honest, your long term account will make you so much money in the long term that it's almost doing yourself harm not to have one. But buying the dips, buy slow, build that account up. But if you've been doing that, whether you started a month ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, all of that is making you a lot of money today on this gap up. So your net worth has gone up. It's very hard to find something that, unless you're all in on this one stock somewhere that is gapping down, maybe Netflix, I don't know, but even from that, you're still up massively. So Big believer in long term. Make sure you guys get that. Target, yeah, a lot of retailers are moving too. So Target's one of them. That's not bad. You don't really have too much resistance on this one up until about 104. So maybe looking at something like Target. That's where Kohl's was gapping up today too. I think Kohl's just had a little bit of a moving average in front of it. But some of these retailer names were they're still down a lot. Kohl's, if we can get a little bit higher. I kind of like Target as a day trade over Kohl's for here. Did you do Tessie? I have Tessie. Oh, did we cover Tesla? I don't know. I forget. I know I looked at it like myself like a bunch of times, but I don't know what we talked about. This one is I think it has another $10 in it for today. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this is a retest gap. We'll see. The retest gap, one, two, 3, 4 days of buying. There is people profitable. It's getting into an interesting location. The target for me would have been a high-end target somewhere around 320, we'll call it. And the pre-market is already breaking through that. We're at 322 right now. I think my next immediate target takes me to about 328.79, and then looking for a target into 333. So there's room. I like the room on it. Nobody wants to take gains anywhere today. I don't know. It's very hard for me to because not only am I, but I'm paying $22 as well to get a $10 move. So I'm paying $22 higher than where I could have just bought it on Friday. That makes me feel all kinds of icky. Other than that, yeah, Tesla's got some room. So if it wants to pull back a little bit, if it looks like we can get a good setup, I'm for it. I'm with it. I think it could probably move a little bit more today. I think it's got room in it, but I don't know. We'll see. John Ardito is in the house. What's going on, John? John has been loving the selling puts lately. I like it. We got RKT. Uh Everything's gapping. This one's going with it. I didn't they get a buyout or something? I thought they got bought out at one point. Or am I thinking of something else? Redfin. Oh, I'm thinking Redfin. This gap not that impressive. Yeah, you're also opening into resistance, so I don't know if we're seeing the again, if the Fed now is looking for rates, the one thing that would affect rocket companies is the rates come down. I think that'd be phenomenal for rocket company. But with the potential tariffs staying, I think that's going to hurt the chances that we lower the rates, and that's going to keep rocket down. So it is gapping. It is a gap and go. See if this one clears like $11.35. If not, if it could, then maybe 11.58. But I think there's probably some stronger plays for today. Other than that, you guys in YouTube land, absolutely incredible. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons, and yeah, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Be safe. Later, guys.